want to fight, and I'll say Parker. I want to fight Parker definitely, and hopefully Turkey might hear this and make it happen in England, make it happen in Wembley or something.
I believe Joseph Parker will come in at career heaviest, and he's put that weight, and I think one to absorb and to be able to wrestle that young lion in.
Daniel Dubois calling out Joseph Parker after getting dismantled by Oleksandr Usyk almost writes its own headline for irony. How does a fighter get systematically broken down, picked apart, and ultimately humbled in the most high-profile fight of his career, only to then declare, "I'm on another level"? That kind
I don't know, I'm just ready to fight now. It's just, let's get it on now. I want to entertain the people, I want to entertain the fans.
of confidence is admirable on the surface, but boxing fans aren't buying it, and neither are the experts. This isn't the time for bold proclamations or defiant call-outs. And more importantly, Joseph Parker isn't the right man to chase when your confidence is already cracked. Parker, for his part, has kept things classy and measured. While Dubois talks about levels, Parker speaks about principles.
I have a good chin. I've showed it in the past and I'll show it again. But it's not so much about taking these punches. It's about going out there and performing and hitting and not getting it. That's
about what makes a fighter truly great. Hit and don't get hit, Parker says, and that's not just talk, that's the essence of boxing IQ. It's also something Dubois has yet to fully master. Dubois may be powerful, but Parker's durability is proven. His chin has held up against some of the most dangerous punchers in the heavyweight division, fighters far more destructive than Dubois. So if
Daniel, or you know that you're going to get a well-prepared fighter who's the champion of the world and he wants to remain champion of the world, well, my goal is to take that away from him and be champion myself.
When Dubois wants to step into the ring with Parker, he'd better bring more than empty fire. Joseph Parker has responded to Dubois' callouts with a quiet but ominous sense of intent. There's no trash talk coming from Parker, no attempt to hype himself up with bluster. Instead, he's been razor sharp, calculated, and focused. When he speaks about Dubois, it doesn't sound like a response. It sounds like a declaration.
I'm here with Johnny Nelson. We're about to put out an R&B album, so don't you worry.
I'm your backing dancer. I'm your backing dancer.
Now, you might not believe we're in Saudi Arabia because we're both wearing our hoodies.
Of war. Parker is fully aware that Dubois is shouting for attention right now, trying to reclaim some dignity after the Usyk humiliation. But Parker isn't interested in the noise. He's plotting quietly to take Dubois' soul in the ring. And if Dubois thinks this will be an easy shot at redemption, he's clearly forgotten the caliber of the man he's calling out. The truth
line in Daniel Dubois, and not to fight fire with fire. I think the better technical boxer is Joseph Parker.
is simple. Parker is already a step ahead in class, chin, and ring intelligence. Dubois clings to this narrative of unfinished business, as though his career hasn't just taken a massive hit from a clinical Usyk masterclass at Wembley. Dubois shouting for big nights doesn't mean he's earned them. Fans want substance, not empty bravado. And this is where the divide lies. Parker is substance. Dubois is still trying to convince the world, and maybe even himself, that he belongs at the elite level. Johnny Nelson summed it up perfectly when he analyzed the situation. Parker's the superior technician, Nelson said bluntly. That's the difference between true contenders and fighters who are still learning the ropes. Dubois leans heavily on his natural power and physicality, but Parker has layers to his game. Timing, control, poise under pressure. These are things Dubois hasn't consistently shown. Nelson's assessment.
The physique of Dubois, he's not bigger than Zhang. He's not as fast as Wilder. So Joe's faced all these things that Dubois has, but not to the same extent.
Assessment resonates with boxing purists because it's rooted in the reality of the sport. Parker doesn't need height advantages or a bodybuilder's frame. His skills do the talking. Andy Lee, Parker's trainer, didn't hold back either. He believes Dubois is being exposed for what he really is, a fighter still trying to find his identity at the elite level. He's not faster than Wilder, not stronger than Joshua, not slicker than the southpaws Joe's already faced, Lee said. So what exactly is he bringing to the table? The implication was clear. Dubois doesn't offer anything Parker hasn't already seen, and if that's the case, he's in for a long night. Lee's critique of Dubois was cutting. He didn't stop at questioning Dubois' skill set. He went straight after his mindset. He reminded everyone that Dubois has already pulled out of fights when the pressure mounted, and even when he does show up, his performances often falter the moment adversity hits. Is he going to blink in slow motion on the canvas again? Lee asked rhetorically, alluding to Dubois' infamous eye injury and surrender against Joe Joyce.
He'll be focused on Joe. I hope he's focused on Joe. I hope he is, because I know Joe can win either way. Even if he is or isn't overlooking him, I know Joe can beat Dubois.
Joe Parker's danced with lions. Dubois is still learning how to roar, and Lee's words aren't just bravado to boost his own fighter. Parker's track record speaks for itself. He's been in the trenches with some of the best heavyweights in the world. Joshua, Ruiz, White, Chisora, Zhang, and he's survived, even thrived in those high-pressure environments. Dubois' shredded physique didn't save him from Usyk's dismantling, and it won't save him when Parker starts planting hard combinations to the body and chin. This isn't a step up for Parker, it's a step back. But if Dubois insists on running it, Parker will gladly remind him why levels in boxing are earned in the ring, not claimed in post-fight rants. Even Eddie Hearn, a promoter who's never been shy about hyping young prospects, can see it. He's quietly leaning toward Parker in this matchup. Hearn has observed Parker's mindset.
Everything in life. And Joe Parker, this is the right time for him. It doesn't mean he's going to win, but I'll tell you what, he'll never get a better chance because mentally, physically, I think even spiritually, like you can see how happy he is in his preparation and in life at the moment, that this just might be the right time for him to become a two-time world heavyweight champion.
Up close, and it's clear the former world champion is locked in, body, mind, and spirit. There's no pressure dragging Parker down. He's thriving. You can see it in the way he trains, the way he moves, and even the way he speaks. He's calm, focused, and professional. Dubois, on the other hand, often looks like a man weighed down by pressure, either just escaping a nightmare or about to enter one. He's carrying the burden of expectations and past failures into every fight. Parker doesn't have that baggage. He isn't chasing belts out of desperation. He's reclaiming his legacy. And if you read between the lines of Hearn's commentary, it's clear the boxing world knows Dubois isn't built for a calm, disciplined assassin like Parker. Frank Warren, Dubois' own promoter, doesn't exactly radiate confidence in his fighter right now either. Listen to his post-fight comments after the Usyk loss, and he
got to learn from it. If he don't learn from it, then he won't come again. But it's up to him. You know, it was a tough night for him, a tough night. Is he okay, like health-wise? He's obviously very disciplined. But in terms of that was brutal, that knockout, Frank. Is he okay? He got up. He got up at 10. He wasn't brutal. He wasn't cold.
He sounds more like a worried uncle than a promoter selling the next big thing. Tough night. That was a career-defining beatdown. He can come again, Warren said. But those pauses, the hesitant tone, the concern, it's all telling. Even Dubois' own camp knows he's rattled. This isn't the kind of rhetoric you hear about future champions. Parker doesn't need pity talk. He commands respect. Dubois, however, is back at square one, hoping a single big win can reset his story. And if Parker is the next hurdle, it could break him for good. Joseph Parker predicted all of this, by the way. He knew Dubois would crumble against Usyk, and after the fight, his breakdown of Dubois' performance was surgical. There was no surprise in Parker's voice, no sympathy, just facts. Usyk dismantled Dubois piece by piece, and Parker knew it was coming. He's seen this kind of collapse before. He understands what happens when a fighter has no plan B and runs out of tricks. Dubois came out swinging, landed a few shots.
I know that he broke him down, right? He broke him down, he was patient. Then Dubois did, for me, looked better. Like landed some good shots in the beginning, was going back and forth. And he got Usyk's attention, but he was patient. Feints, movement.
Shots, but the moment things didn't go his way, he folded. Parker admires Usyk's patience and precision, but deep down he knows he can execute a similar game plan. With his footwork, timing, and durability, Parker won't just beat Dubois, he'll teach him. The moment Dubois starts to doubt himself in the ring, Parker will pounce. There's no panic in Parker, only poise, and that's what makes him so dangerous. Adam Smith, another respected boxing voice, brought up an even more alarming detail about Dubois' preparation. What the hell was he doing partying before the biggest fight of his life? Smith asked incredulously. That's not confidence, that's delusion. You don't prepare for a pound-for-pound talent like Usyk with good vibes and Instagram filters. You prepare with sacrifice, tunnel vision, and grit, all the things Dubois seemed to lack. Smith's take was simple. The jump from fringe contender to elite.
It's not the way that I think you should prepare for an undisputed heavyweight championship. I can't see how his mind, surely you want to give yourself the best possible chance. That said, he went out, he gave it his best, and he lost. He lost to the better man, and it was a case.
Exposed Dubois badly. He wasn't ready physically, mentally, or emotionally. And the worst part, he didn't seem to grasp the magnitude of the occasion. Parker, by contrast, thrives in those moments. He locks in, increases his work rate, and treats fight week like war preparation, not party time. That's the gap between these two fighters, and that's why this version of Dubois isn't ready for the storm Parker would bring. Dave Coldwell took it even further, highlighting Dubois' Achilles heel, pressure. And not just pressure from the opponent, but from the voices around him. The crowd around Dubois hypes him up without realizing they're stacking bricks on his back, Coldwell said. Dubois doesn't thrive under that weight. He suffocates. We saw it against Joyce, and we saw it again against Usyk. The moment he's asked to solve problems, his system crashes. Parker, on the other hand, has been under lights brighter than anything Dubois has ever experienced. He's faced Anthony Joshua in front of a sold-out stadium. He's been in wars with Chisora and Ruiz. He's gone toe-to-toe with heavy hitters like Zhang. And through it all, there's no panic, no collapse. That's the difference experience makes. Dubois walks into fights trying to convince...
It's there's pressure coming on more and more, even by people just saying, good luck, mate. You've got this, mate. You're going to smash him, mate. It's just a bit more pressure, a bit more tension, a bit more expectancy from them that's added on to the fighter. The fighter's going into the ring, not only wanting to win the fight for himself, but also feels the added pressure from
himself he belongs. Parker walks in knowing he does. Coldwell's assessment was subtle but damning. Dubois isn't emotionally ready for this level, and boxing is unforgiving to fighters who carry fragile minds into brutal nights. If Parker senses uncertainty in there, he'll exploit it without mercy. Don Charles, Dubois' trainer, tried defending his fighters' pre-fight partying, claiming it had worked before. But as analysts pointed out, that was before Usyk iced him. What worked once doesn't justify repeating risky behavior, especially against elite opponents. Calling it a genius move is laughable. If your fighter needs a house party to feel good before war, you're not preparing a champion. You're managing a cheerleader. Look at Parker's camp for contrast. Discipline, intent, zero fluff. That's the difference. Charles even referenced the AJ fight as proof Dubois could handle pressure, forgetting that Dubois lost that fight too. It's poor decision-making under pressure, plain and simple. Even Derek Chisora, a man never shy about speaking his mind, weighed in with brutal honesty. If you fight a man who isn't 100%, it's not a victory, it's a con, Chisora said. That's the energy surrounding Dubois right now. From mysterious injuries to questionable preparation habits.
Done this party at the house prior to getting to Wembley was against AJ and it worked. So that's a genius move by the father, right?
No one criticized it when it worked.
So that's a genius move, right? No one criticized it because people were just fixing on the ring walk. Right? So that's a genius move because it worked.
Usyk orbit his every performance. Boxing is about accountability, and Dubois hasn't consistently delivered when it counted. Now he's throwing call-outs as though that erases 3 years of fragility. Parker isn't a warm-up opponent for Daniel's redemption arc. He's a destroyer in disguise. If Dubois thinks he can half prepare and coast into this fight with the same casual attitude, Parker will break him worse than Usyk did. And this time, there won't be any excuses left. This isn't just a grudge match, it's a reckoning. Dubois calling out Parker after being dismantled by Usyk isn't confidence, it's desperation. He's trying to reclaim credibility after folding under the brightest lights. For Parker, this is purely professional. It's about reclaiming his place at the top, silencing doubters, and showing the world that skill, discipline, and experience still beat hype. A win would propel Parker back into title contention and potentially toward another shot at a world championship. For Dubois, an upset win would reset his career and silence the critics once and for all. But the mental battle will be just as brutal as the physical. Parker has been there before. Dubois is still trying to convince himself he belongs. So who really wants it more? Who can handle the fire when the crowd roars?
Go sick. Motherfucker go sick. You can't fight a sick man.
Okay, you can't fight a sick man, but you can wait until that man gets well so you can get your title shot.
There's no fighting him now.
And the doubt creeps in. Is Parker too seasoned, too smooth, too smart? Or is Dubois finally ready to deliver on the promise that's haunted him since the Joyce loss? All roads lead to war, and someone's career won't be the same after. What do you think? Does Parker school him and expose the gap in class? Or does Dubois finally show he's got more than muscles? Drop your predictions in the comments below.